The Aksumite Kingdom of Ethiopia. The Aksumite Kingdom, also known as the Kingdom of Aksum, was one of the most powerful and influential civilizations of ancient Africa. It developed mainly in what is today northern Ethiopia and Eritrea and became an important political, economic, and cultural power. Aksum flourished especially during the first centuries AD and played a major role in connecting Africa with the Mediterranean world, Arabia, and regions farther east. 1. The rise of Aksum. The Kingdom of Aksum began developing centuries before Christianity arrived in Ethiopia. Its capital was the ancient city of Aksum, located in present-day Tigray in northern Ethiopia. The region benefited from fertile agricultural land and access to important trade routes. As Aksum grew stronger, its rulers expanded their influence over surrounding territories. The kingdom eventually controlled important commercial routes between the African interior and the Red Sea. The port of Adulis, located near the Red Sea coast in present-day Eritrea, became one of the kingdom's most important trading centers. 2. A powerful trading civilization. Trade was one of the main sources of Aksum's prosperity. Aksumite merchants traded products such as ivory, gold, animal skins, incense, and other valuable goods. Through Red Sea trade networks, they interacted with merchants from the Roman world, Arabia, Egypt, India, and other regions. Aksum's geographical position gave it an enormous advantage. Goods coming from the African interior could pass through Aksumite-controlled territory before reaching the Red Sea. One important sign of Aksum's economic development was its production of coins. Aksumite kings issued coins made from gold, silver, and bronze. These coins were not simply money. They also communicated the authority and identity of the rulers. Aksum was among the notable ancient African states to mint its own currency. 3. The Great Stelae of Aksum. One of the most famous achievements of Aksumite civilization is its monumental stone architecture. The enormous stelae, or obelisks, found at Aksum demonstrate remarkable engineering and craftsmanship. Some were carved from single pieces of stone and decorated to resemble multi-story buildings, including representations of doors and windows. These monuments were associated particularly with elite burial traditions. The surviving stelae remain powerful symbols of Ethiopia's ancient civilization. They demonstrate that Aksum possessed highly developed skills in stone cutting, transportation, construction, and organization. 4. King Ezana and Christianity. One of the most important rulers in Aksumite history was King Ezana, who ruled during the 4th century AD. His reign represented a major turning point because Christianity became associated with the Aksumite monarchy during this period. According to Ethiopian Christian tradition and historical sources, Frumentius played an important role in the establishment of Christianity in Aksum. He was later consecrated as a bishop through the Church of Alexandria and became known in Ethiopian tradition as Abba Salama. King Ezana converted to Christianity, and Christianity became closely connected with the kingdom. Evidence of this transformation can even be seen on Aksumite coins. Earlier religious symbols were eventually replaced by the Christian cross. This development had a lasting impact. Christianity remained deeply rooted in Ethiopia long after the political decline of the Aksumite kingdom and became one of the most important elements of Ethiopian history and culture. 5. Aksum and the Prophet Muhammad's followers. Aksum also has an important place in early Islamic history. During the early years of Islam in the 7th century, some followers of the Prophet Muhammad faced persecution in Mecca. A group crossed the Red Sea and sought refuge in the Christian kingdom of Aksum. Islamic tradition remembers the Aksumite ruler, commonly referred to as the Najashi, as a just king who provided protection to the refugees and refused to surrender them to their persecutors. This event, traditionally known as the First Hijra, or migration to Abyssinia, represents an important historical connection between Ethiopia and the early Muslim community. It is also remembered as an example of protection given to people suffering religious persecution. 6. Language and writing. The Aksumites used Ge'ez, an ancient Ethiopian Semitic language. Ge'ez inscriptions provide valuable evidence about Aksumite rulers, military campaigns, religion, and political life. Although Ge'ez is no longer generally spoken as an everyday language, it remains extremely important. It continues to serve as a classical liturgical language of the Ethiopian and Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo churches. Aksumite inscriptions were also produced in languages such as Greek, reflecting the kingdom's international connections. 7. The decline of the kingdom Aksum eventually lost much of its former political and commercial strength. Its decline was gradual rather than the result of one single event. Changes in Red Sea and international trade routes affected its economy. Regional political transformations, environmental pressures, and internal developments also contributed. As the kingdom's access to major trade networks weakened, the center of political power increasingly shifted southward into the Ethiopian highlands. Nevertheless, Aksum's cultural and religious influence survived for centuries. 8. The legacy of Aksum. The Aksumite kingdom left an extraordinary legacy. Its monumental stelae, inscriptions, coins, archaeological remains, and religious traditions provide evidence of a sophisticated, ancient civilization. Aksum demonstrated that the Horn of Africa was deeply connected to international trade and diplomacy in antiquity. The kingdom interacted with Africa, Arabia, and the Mediterranean world while developing its own distinctive political and cultural traditions. Its adoption of Christianity had especially long-lasting consequences. The Christian traditions established during the Aksumite period became an important part of Ethiopian civilization. Today, the ancient city of Aksum remains one of Ethiopia's most important historical and religious places. Its monuments continue to remind the world of a kingdom that once stood among the major powers of its era. The story of Aksum is therefore much more than the history of an ancient kingdom. It is a story of African state-building, international commerce, monumental architecture, religious transformation, and cultural continuity. More than 1,000 years after Aksum's political power declined, its legacy continues to occupy a central place in the history and identity of Ethiopia and the wider Horn of Africa.
And one more thing, don't forget to leave your constructive comments in the comment section below. Your feedback is very important to me and helps me improve my future videos. Thank you very much for watching and for your continued support.